Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
He is one guy that can change your financial future, and he really can. If you're looking to become stable financially, wondering what the future is going to look like based on what you're doing right now, even when it comes to your life insurance, we're going to look at all of that today and the four pillars that you need to know for a sound financial plan. And yes, you need to plan. We can't just kind of wing it, because you'll get to a point where you look back and say, now what? Because I didn't have a plan. He's back with us. He's amazing. Robb Hill is on the program. Welcome, Robb. How you doing?
Outstanding, Steve, and thank you again for having me back.
Yeah, my pleasure. And look at a trooper. He's traveling, so it's Robb on the road today, just to make sure you can be with us. Are you driving? Are you parked? Somebody else driving? What's going on?
No, I had to park because I'm not very adverse at multitasking.
Yeah, and guess what? Nor is anybody, although we all think we are. And research shows we're not. You can't do it. Don't even try it. Especially guys. They say that women are better multitasking than guys. Got to admit it. But that doesn't go that deep anyway, because we shouldn't be multitasking. When we talk about these four principles, these four pillars for a sound financial plan, what is there a certain order that they're in, or they're all important?
Well, they're all important, Steve, and it simply boils down to this right here. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. It counts. Okay. So there are four main areas that we got: the wills and trust. This is to make sure that you keep it. We got long-term care, because as we age, things start happening with our bodies, and we need to find someone to help us make it through all that, which is healthcare. Then we got safe alternatives to the stock market. Volatility is real. You remember what happened with Enron and WorldCom and
Sure.
all that, the front group on the empty bag? Well, all their assets, these retirement plans across the nation, both public and private, are tied to the stock market.
Yes.
Okay. And so we don't want to end up getting there and find out the cupboard is bare. So you need to take 100% responsibility for your own retirement. Now, if their plan, if it's there, that's great. But what if it's not? You need to prepare. And then we have the final expense, the exit strategy. Many people don't shop for funerals. There are a few that do have their pre-need situations paid for and all that. But what I do is we talk about exit strategy, because funeral homes, they're not regulated. It's like when you take your car to the shop and tell them to look at the brakes, okay? Then they come back and say, yeah, Steve, your brakes, you need rotors, calipers, you need all this stuff, and you got a leaky head gasket, okay? And that just piles the cost on top of it. So there are 82 different charges associated with funerals. 82.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I'm always fully transparent like you are. I do marketing for some funeral homes. I do all types, but funeral homes included. I didn't know that. And the pre-planned thing can be powerful in that it will save you money in the long run, because you lock in the price now. And if you wait, for somebody's passing, your own, whatever, it's going to be substantially higher in the future. Plus, your wishes are guaranteed. But that number, I had no idea how many different levels of expense there are.
There are a lot of different levels. And so what people need to do, see, we have been conditioned to abdicate our responsibility, and we put everything in somebody else's hands. Okay, as far as retirement goes, the job goes, we have got to get back to 100% responsibility, Steve. This is where we're missing it. We're missing the whole boat. Everything is out of line. Our government is out of line, all this kind of stuff. And why are they out of line? It's because we are out of line. We as a society need to wake up and smell the coffee. And that's my own personal opinion. I personally believe that ignorance is our biggest problem.
I agree with you. And I think none of us truly question authority. We just assume, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. They know what they're doing. They're experts. Same thing when you go to a doctor. There's many great doctors out there. Doesn't mean all of them have the right answer, but we never question it because we put them on a pedestal and just say, yeah, they know. They know. We're going to leave it as it is.
Yeah, it's really sad that we have allowed the powers that be to take it to this level where they're at. You know, back I think you're up there with me, when we went to school, there used to be civics. You used to have to be able to pass a test on the Constitution before you could graduate. They took that out.
Hmm.
They changed. You remember conjunction, junction,
Oh,
what's
sure.
your function? Yes,
ABC TV. Yes, I do.
yeah. So they took that out and replaced it with SpongeBob SquarePants. All right.
Hmm.
Why? Why? Because they want an ignorant population.
And
They
they
want
can they can merchandise all that stuff from SpongeBob, where conjunction junction, and the other one, getting the memory, Rob, you're bringing it back. There was one that was similar to conjunction junction, and I think it was a one-off, but it was like 4 minutes long, and it would play in between Saturday morning cartoons. The
right.
one where a bill becomes a law.
Oh yeah, I'm just a bill.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
yeah,
Well, now, I grew up on that.
yeah.
That my grammar and all that stuff came from Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah. How
Okay.
interesting. And I never even looked at it that way, that stuff is all gone. Why are we not feeding our kids info, facts, details that they can use? And there's nothing wrong with SpongeBob. Funny show. It's great, but, good going, Gary. Isn't going to help your kid. It's just not.
That's bad. That's bad. But you know what? The if you just step back and take the 40,000-foot view, okay, what is happening is they need a dumbed down population. Okay,
Hmm.
they need a dumbed down population so they can do whatever they want. And I'm talking about the powers that be, the elites, so to speak. You don't know enough to control your life, so we're gonna do it for you. That's what it boils down to.
Hmm. And you really think it's all intentional?
Oh, definitely. It's all about it's all a plan, okay, to take down the shining light on the hill.
And you really think that, and I'm not questioning you, I'm just
Mhm.
looking at it all, that they, executives, programming executives at networks, look at what they can do when kids could be watching, or even Nickelodeon, in between shows. Are they saying that, yeah, you know what, let's not feed kids info like how a law becomes a bill, or even anything similar to that? Are they intentionally doing that for dumbing down the population, or do they look at,
Exactly.
or is
That's
it's
exactly what's happening.
is it we're gonna lose viewers because kids won't be interested and we're gonna lose money? What do you
Well,
think?
see, the way we had a talk several weeks ago about the emotional strings that they're pulling. They just want to keep these kids laughing. They want them to. I mean, they just taking the morality part out of it. Do whatever you want. If it feels good to you, just do it, and all this kind of stuff. I had mentioned too that freedom, your freedom to swing your fist, stops when you get close to my nose. Okay,
Hmm.
and it's we've got these kids coming up now that they can't even construct a sentence. You know, uh,
Oh,
it,
I
it,
got you.
it, it is truly amazing. They can't write because they're putting everything in these electronic devices and all this stuff. Look at
Hmm.
the total breakdown of the family unit.
A hundred
Okay,
percent.
Steve, the ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. You hear me? The ruin of a nation begins in the homes of its people. You break down that family structure, and you're going to have a bunch of immoral, ignorant people that can be controlled. I mean, if you look at history, you look back at Rome, okay? They used to call it divide and conquer. That's why we've got so many different different groups of people, because they want to keep these people separated. All right. Then they want to entertain them into quasi slavery. Okay. Like I was saying, what is freedom? Freedom is all about choice. It's like you go into a restaurant, you got $1 in your hand. You open up that menu, you've got a limited amount of choices there. All right. Versus if you walk into that same restaurant with $100 in your hand. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is where we're at right now, and freedom is reserved for knowledgeable and virtuous people. Period. See, we have gotten so far away from those two tenets. It is unbelievable. I remember, Steve, the stuff that they're showing on TV now would never have been shown on TV. Never. It's just gone way off the rails. And why is it going way off the rails? Is because we are too busy making a living, living our lives, and all this kind of stuff. That's why.
We don't question it. It just happens. And there's an evolution. And just what you're saying there, Rob, when we look at what our kids are exposed to now, as opposed to, and I'm not a prude by any means, but when you look back even 20 years, 25 years, how radically different it is now. Question, why is that okay? I'm just asking the question. Why is that okay?
It's not okay. The problem is that we realize it too late. See, we need to catch this thing at the beginning, not now at the end. It's better to build a man right than to try to correct him after he's grown.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of this is, devices, like you said. And it's great that we have this technology. It's fantastic. But unfortunately, to your point, a lot of parents are working, or they feel guilty that they didn't have what our kids have today. So you just give them more. You allow them on their devices. They get amassed in that. I have kids. I get it. And guess what? They can't write. They can't verbalize. They can't socialize. All of that. And they get to see a bunch of stuff they shouldn't be seeing.
Right. Because they're too young.
Yeah.
They're too young to make a decision. Their choice is being taken away from them by exposing them to this. Okay. So, I mean, you get to a point, and like I was having a conversation with a person. I was advising them about their management strategy and all this. This is a warehouse, okay, and they play music in there, but the music that they're playing is pornographic. Okay, I mean it might as well be X-rated.
Yeah,
and it's not appropriate in this particular setting because music is the most powerful medium there is out there. Why do you think they make jingles?
agreed.
You remember this? 2 all beef patty, special sauce,
lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Now, when was the last time you saw that? You see how that stays in your memory like that?
From my childhood, as did all the other stuff we're talking about.
Years and years ago. You know what? You haven't heard that. I haven't heard that in so many years, but it's still there.
And guess where it is? Guess where it is, Rob? In our subconscious. It's in our subconscious. It's living there. And we're just talking about a jingle for a burger. Yes. What about all the other stuff? What about the images your kids are seeing? What about even I'll sit there, I don't do this often, but sometimes I'm just chilling out and I'll look at reels on TikTok, even on Facebook. There's the same thing, and there's short videos, and the stuff I see, the women that I see, and they just keep serving it up, and it's like scroll to the next, and it's like, what? Okay. And your daughter's body image, either issues or awareness, is all that.
They are perverting everything. Okay. Technology, I agree with you, it's a beautiful thing.
Sure.
until you add the people to it. All right. I mean, it's
Okay.
a beautiful thing. And then when you get those nefarious types that that just want to just do whatever they want to do, I mean, this makes it all that much the worse. Okay. Because like I mentioned before, my mother told me everything good to you ain't good for you. You know,
Give me that again. Everything.
everything good to you ain't good for you.
Hmm.
Right.
Gotta
I
think about
mean,
that.
yeah, well, you know what? I had thought about it too. I mean, it's fun. We're having fun. We're having fun. But at what price?
Hmm.
See, we pay the highest level we pay the highest price for the lowest level of living.
And politics not involved in any of this. If anybody's trying to read into this conversation and, conservative, liberals, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not it. We're talking about just basic morals, I believe. And I saw an interview with a guy that was promoting or a proponent of having, I believe it was drag queens go to elementary schools and read books. Now, okay, but he's pushing. This is fine. This is okay. That's your opinion. But I ask of that individual, you're pushing that and you're okay with that, and you're creating this whole platform to allow that to happen. What about all the kids getting killed by guns? That's the number one killer of kids right now.
Kids are not getting killed by guns.
Oh, okay. I know where you're going with that, but yes.
Okay. And then too, this thing about the politics and the religion, see, that's a lie straight from the pits of hell. When you don't talk about politics and religion, that's why things are the way they are. It's because we're not talking about it. See,
Yeah.
this is something that needs to be at the forefront. And I'm a true believer too. I believe in God Almighty. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And I would submit to you this: in all things, acknowledge him. All things. All right. The degradation of this nation it's not nothing new. Have you heard of Sodom and Gomorrah?
Hmm.
It's not new.
Well,
You
you
know,
know,
yes, go ahead.
what you're, and I don't want to run out of time because I do want to want to mention one thing that we started talking about before we went on here is service. We're talking about, we sound like two older guys, be itching
Mhm.
here about the way things are. But one thing has gone away is service. And when you work with people on the financial level to help them through and realize where their finances are, their life insurance situation, and what their future is going to look like. This is just based on numbers. It's not,
Yes,
opinion. You provide that one-on-one service, and people, we don't get that. That's one of my biggest peeves right now. It's like you can't get anybody on the phone. I'm so tired of pressing
yes,
one, then two, then one,
yes, yes,
and then not accomplishing anything or waiting on hold and nothing.
yes. Me, myself, Steve, over the years, I've been doing this for over 20 years. And many times what I find is that what people have and what they think they have are two very different things.
Hmm.
Hence, I hear people all the time saying, well, the agent said, it does not matter what the agent says to you. What you need to know is in pages 3 to 9 of any life insurance policy. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Pages 3 to page 9. It's all there, it's all written. And if whatever the agent may have told you, the company does not have to back that up. Okay, because it's hearsay. Okay. And then you've got these agents out here that just running out there pushing these products and all. Oh, this is what you need, this is what you need, this is what you need. And they fail, the
Hmm.
clients fail to ask the right questions. That's why my book is entitled Ask the Right Questions, Get the Right Answers.
Hmm.
Many times when I sit down with somebody with life insurance, the first thing they ask is, well, how much does it cost? And I said, well, that's a great question. However, it's the wrong first question. What's the first question? What do I qualify for? When does it start? When
Hmm.
does it end? You know, does the price increase? See, I personally deliver all of my product, everything that I sell to people, I personally deliver it. We go over it line by line to make sure that there is total transparency. Okay, it's time consuming. However, I want to be there to help these people because these are some life changing decisions that they're
Oh,
making.
and I'm going to jump in here if I may and share what I what I shared a few podcasts back on this. In that I took a policy out in the mid 2000s. Its anniversary date was 2012. I didn't realize it. My ex at the time didn't realize it, and I was progressively paying more, not even knowing that once that anniversary hits, you're going to pay more. Guess what? I can't even tell you who the rep was that sold the policy. And wouldn't it have been nice to get an email from that rep and say, just want to let you know. And then if you want to spin it into another policy, nothing.
Well, see, I would go back further than that. When you first got that policy, everything needed to be explained then.
Agreed.
Okay. Then it should have been explained then. I see this all the time. People say, well, and then you get that. Well, the agent said it does not matter what the agent says because life insurance is an intangible product. You get it in the mail and then you stick it in a drawer and you forget about it. Hopefully, it's there when you need it. Okay?
100%. Yep.
And that's not the way that I do things. I mean, I've been with quite a few different organizations. They were like, well, what are you spending all this time with these people for? Just sell them the pots. Well, that's not where I'm at. You know, I've seen people just. I mean, it's devastating. It is devastating. You've been paying on a policy for 20 years, and then all of a sudden you find out that you're going to have to keep that same policy in force. You're going to have to pay 10 times what you've been paying already.
Yeah. Slowly going up.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And then don't have medical issues. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, Steve. Look, there's no good or no bad. Okay. A screwdriver is a beautiful tool until you got to turn a bolt.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And these are financial tools, and people need to know how to implement them into their financial strategy.
Well,
and this is what we're missing.
This is what makes you different because you're about the relationship, not about the sale. And you realize that if you let somebody know, even remind them, hey, yeah, just let you know your policy is going to start going the other way in terms of expense, you'll have them longer. And then you'll have referrals, then you'll have more connections because you're letting them know, doing the right thing, and fully disclosing everything. And it was Lee Iacocca, the big car guy from 70s. Yes. And I'll never forget what he said. If it's not in print, it doesn't exist. Meaning just what you're saying. If it's not here, the agent could be telling you whatever. If it's not here, it doesn't exist. Not there.
Yeah. And I mean, they tell them they got to get that sale. They got to get that sale. That's what it's all based on. It's all based on sales.
Yeah.
And I'm service oriented. Okay. I mean, Steve, I've been in situations where I walked into a house and the guy had two identical policies. The only difference was he was paying one for the one than he was for the other one. Why is that? Because they went back and wrote him the same policy again a year later.
Wow.
When what they should have did was just sit him down right there and do everything the first time.
Wow.
Instead of keep on coming back. I mean, insurance companies are in business to make money. They provide a valuable service, and it is a beautiful thing until you add the people. Okay. Add the people in there. I mean, you got these starving insurance agents running around here, man, just ripping people off. And then you look at this. I'm going to submit this to you, Steve. Half the truth is a total lie. Okay. Half the truth is a total lie. What's my price? $9.95. Right. This is a final expense plan. This is for your final expenses. They're just life insurance policies. Okay. Now, I have been fortunate enough to align with a company that has a true final expense plan because they help with the funeral and all that kind of stuff. Okay. 9 times out of 10, when somebody calls to say, I need you to come and pick up my mother, they call a funeral home, I need you to come and pick up my mother. Okay. The first question they ask is, how you going to pay? And then when you say, well, yeah, we've got a life insurance policy and all that, the next question they ask is, how much is it? And well, it's $15,000, $20,000. Now, when the funeral home knows how much benefit is available, what do you think they're gonna do?
It's the same thing when you buy a car.
Yes.
And the salesman says, yeah, all right, how much you want to spend?
Mm-hmm.
And they will find a way to make that happen on the back end.
Oh, yes.
They'll find a way. We're going to run out of time here. We are out of time. I want to tell everybody how they find you and how it all begins to a better financial future.
All right. It's www.rhillenterprisesinc.com. My phone number is 773-765-4491. And you could just Google ROBBHILL, Robb Hill speaker, and you'll get plenty of information about me.
Fantastic. Robb, it's always great talking with you. Thanks for the relatable flashbacks as well. But all that stuff from back in the day pertains to the day now in terms of the situation that we're in. Appreciate you and look forward next time we talk.
I appreciate you very much, Steve.
Thanks,
you.
Robb.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.